Okay, hello everybody, how are you? So we're here at the Le Caméléon workshop. I hope that my English is really up to date right now. We're going to begin the visit here, you in the shop actually. You can see that we have different type of chocolate we're working. My name is Sophie Vanderbecken, I'm from Belgium. I'm living in Mexico City and we're very happy and we thank actually the Fine Cocoa and Chocolate Institute to invite us to participate to this virtual festival about stay home with chocolates. This is really important that we stay home since the circumstances we're living right now. So actually, to begin with the story of Caméléon, you would have to know that I've been reaching Mexico like 20 years ago now, and we began the chocolate like 16 years ago. So we've been working first with different recipes of my family that you can see here, which were filled in chocolate. So we have, you know, vanilla, we have Grand Marnier, we have Gianduja, the classics that you can find, for example, in Belgium. This is what my family is working there. And then we've been extending, you know, bit by bit, because actually when I was working in Belgium, I was not a chocolate, no chocolatier, no chocolate maker as I am right now. What was I used to do? Actually, I work in a different area. And then I came to Mexico because I was doing a training in a master degree in humanitarian aid, and the idea was actually, as I was coming back with chocolates, to actually help the NGO with who I used to do my trainings, and so that these young people who are in rehabilitation could have a new job, could have a new training, and then the NGO would have some more money. Destiny was different, so I launched the workshop by myself. And then we began 17 years ago now. We began just like that with these recipes of my family. Then we began to work a bit different products like the bars and then the confitados, as we call them, like these ones, like, you know, the chocolate coated coffee and different stuff like that. And then bit by bit we've been behind the process and we began to make chocolate like 2 or 3 years ago now as a bean to bar. What is a bean to bar? Like lots of you will know, it's working from the bean but from different fine flavor cocoa to make rich chocolates. So let's go to the workshop. Follow me. If you do have some questions, please let me know. Let's enter the workshop. I'm going to put the coffee up, because if they're not working right now, we have to be careful. So let's get a bit more practical. Wait, hold on a second, because this is not very funky. It's not so sexy, but it's going to be useful. That's the point. Right. Are you okay? You still with me? Any questions up to now? My English is understandable? Great, let's go. Please come with me. So we're actually entering the workshop here. So as you can see here, we have different already made bonbons or chocolates, filled in chocolates. And here actually we've been working the different beans. We've been working here, this is the Anuraga beans. So they've been roasted and we're going to work on them tomorrow. What's the process actually? Of course, they've been roasted. Now we're going to use the champion juicer to crack it. Then we're going to winnow it with this little, how to say, handcraft machine. And then we're going to actually grind it. Once we're grinding them, let's go this way. Is the second part of the workshop. We're going to use the little refiner that we have, because we're working on a little production. So basically this is the machines we're using for the bean to bar. Nothing more, nothing less, except the hands. Because we're actually finishing to clean the shells by hand, because most of them are just removed with the little machine you saw. But we're going to remove the little pieces that are remaining by hand, so that is perfectly done. Here what you can see is actually one of the paste, but it's just right now, we put it resting. And these machines are actually used to actually get the chocolate melted at a temperature of about 40 degrees, so that when tomorrow they're coming back, they can begin to work and mold if this is the part that they're going to work tomorrow, depending on how the organization is. Let's move that way. What are we doing, as I told you? For the bean to bar, for example, these are some 4 bars, which is part of the collection Social. Social, why? Because this is Sophie chocolates. Why? Well, actually, as I told you, I'm coming from a Belgian family. I used to eat chocolates all the time, of course, because in Belgium that's what we're eating, apart from French fries, which it should be called Belgian fries, but that's a detail. You know, bit by bit, we've been moving to plantations. I've been participating to different conferences, to different festivals, to different events, and I had the opportunity to visit different countries and work with them, support them when I can. So really, we've been back and back to the process. So first you have the chocolate and you're working it as a chocolatier. Then you're working it as a chocolate maker. You're selecting beans, you're beginning to process them. And then, of course, I've been integrating also different competitions as a judge. And as a judge, you know, with this professional deformation, afterwards you're always kind of judging the chocolates you're trying or you're tasting. And that's the point too. When you're actually tasting, you can help others to improve theirs. Why? When you have different little producers, chocolate producers or cocoa producers which are making chocolate, we can definitely help them to get a better quality. So idea is really to get the top of the line cocoa, or get them from people who are beginning to, for example, ferment, because the fermentation process is very difficult, and help them to actually remove different defects, improve the process, and get a better price. So let's move to the shop, because we're going to have a little tasting, and I'm going to answer questions because I'm talking, but actually they are going to read me the questions that you have. Let's go. Okay, so now we're out of the workshop. It's quite hot today in Mexico. We are having 30 degrees outside, and well, that's the season actually. So let's go back here. Do you have any questions? Because I have a little, some little samples to show you. Here we actually have 3 different samples. We have cocoa, which is actually the beans, which haven't been neither fermented, or they're not unfermented. What did we do? We had some pods, and we actually removed the seeds and the pulp, and we've been dehydrating them. So it's a kind of superfood, because as you know, cocoa has huge different characteristics, which are making it very healthy. The second one is actually a Anuraga, which is a kind of Trinitario, which is coming from Pichucalco, Chiapas. And this is from Don Tito and his family. Let's wave to Monica, because she's the one sending me these kind of treasures. And the last one is actually a cocoa paste that we are actually molding. Why? Because we're actually tasting cocoa paste, but also chocolate. And in this case, we love the different flavors it gives to us as a paste. And we didn't have to actually add any sugar, because it was a very nice taste. So let's begin. Here is the bean, so you can see that the pulp is still, you know, stuck to it. I'm going to just bite it. Of course it's dry. You can see the color. It's very good. Whenever you can taste, don't hesitate to do it. You have different flavors, because of course it's unfermented. This one particularly, you can see it's kind not so dark color. You have this very fruity note thanks to the pulp. So actually you don't need to make any further process than just have this one. What is the idea? Actually, Le Caméléon is called La Chocolatería con Sentidos, which it means with sense or senses. In Spanish, or consenting. Why? First, the sense, because we're actually working with the cocoa producer, because we have 2 lines. One is made of Belgian chocolate. Then we've been using the different recipes of my family, and then we moved on to different Mexican flavors. And then we've been moving on to different Mexican beans, of course, that I've been selecting through the different time actually. So the idea is really the sense of helping them, working with them together and help them to get a better quality. So that's the first part. We're working with different states in Mexico, being in this case Tabasco, being like for example with Dr. Pedro Garcia Lamia, which is part of the university. We're working, for example, with different hacienda, Cholula, Jesus Maria. We're working also with how do you call it? Well, different people from there. Please forgive me if I don't give you all the name to you. We're also working with Chiapas like Don Tito, but we're also working with Tapachula, with the cooperative which is called Rayen. And we're also working with Oaxacanita, hi there, who are actually processing, it's a social enterprise and a social entrepreneurship, and they're actually working this part of the chocolate de mesa, which is the drinking chocolate, with different areas where they used to have some, 1 or 2 cocoa plants at the back of the backyard or the patio, and they've been really working to rescue it and work it and give jobs to people which are very kind of marginated, or indigenous people, so that they can really, retake this the tradition that they used to have, and instead of going to different countries, of course, like for example our neighbor, which is the US, well, they're actually coming back and work. So the chocolate is really always the answer, whatever the question is, as we always say. So idea is also the second concept of Le Caméléon is the senses. Why? Because I'm a judge and I'm a taster. So we actually teaching how to taste, how to evaluate, how to analyze the chocolate, the cocoa paste, and we're working on the cocoa now. So there is the whole panorama of all the sensorial experience you can have, but also holistic. We are now really investigating that area. We are working on the part of how to call that, all different experiences, like working your different sensibilities to the 4 flavors, basic flavors and stuff like that, so that you can really get a feel of what the chocolate is, how to taste it, what you have to judge and to estimate actually. And the last concept, or the last axis, if we can call it that way, is to consent, because at the end of the day, whatever chocolate is the best for you is the one that you like. But there are different parameters that you can use to actually, if you're a bit lost about what is good, what is not, what is best, what is worse, you can definitely look for different informations. So let me check if there's some questions which are online. No questions till now. Is everything clear? So I'm going to finish the second half. Thank you very much. Remember that behind our job, and here we like 10-12 jobs, we're actually working also with the cocoa producer. So when you're actually now supporting them to go through to that crisis, you're actually going to help them too. Why? Because we have to move money. So we have to move money so that we are sure that the cocoa producer don't have any problems there too. So Mexico City is huge. We need chocolate. Cocoa is very good for the immune system. Chocolate, cocoa, I better said, is very good for, antidepressive, anti-cough, so it has a lot of virtues. So really, just consume it, Second, cacao. So this one, which is running down, is an Anuraga. So let me crack it. Here we go. You can see it's quite clear. Because here in Mexico you have a lot of cross-pollination. So here we go. Trying to peel it as best as I can, otherwise I'll have a bit of shell, I don't care. I'm not going to die from that anyway. Okay. This one is fruity notes actually. When it's processed, we have a lot of tropical fruit notes. It's very perfumed, is very great. And the idea there is, in this case, to show you, to transmit you how good it is. If you haven't tasted, we do invite you to do so. This is also it's the same, but one was dehydrated, this one has been fermented and roasted. Last but not least, we actually taste the cocoa paste. How do you actually taste it? Let me try the shell. So in order to taste the cocoa paste, normally for, let's call it real tasting, you should have it melted. In this case, I was showing you the workshop. I'm just showing you different stuff that we're making, because as I told you, we came from the chocolate and we went back and back and back and back in the process in order to really define who we are and really go back to the source, which is the cocoa itself. So the idea is really to discover, show to the world, to Mexico, but also outside, as when we went to Paris, for example, a few years ago, or to different countries where we've been working, how to enjoy these different treasures, theobrominated treasures. This one is the cocoa paste. You can see the color is not so black without being so clear. So normally it should be melted, so you're going to actually smell it, of course. In this case, you have some notes of the roasting, there's some fruity note and a bit of earthy note. The second part, of course, the visual part is not so important in this case, because I've been, breaking it in little pieces. It's not the full bar. So anyway, we can see that there's no defect, there's no bubble, there's no mistampering, no? Nice. So I'm going to actually have the best part, which is the tasting. I wish you could taste it too. You have these fruity notes coming in, you have this acidity, round acidity, you have notes of mango, what we call in Spanish plátano pacificado. You have these notes of tutti frutti, this kind of tropical fruits, very brave, or very marcadas, as we say in Spanish. You have afterwards a kind of sweet note, the acidity is decreasing, still present, and then you have these very little notes of earthy notes, aromatic of earthy notes, and you have a very good permanence. You like lasting and lasting and lasting. This is a pasta. This is not a chocolate, because it has zero sugar added and it has zero any added material. We didn't put any extra cocoa butter in this case. It's just a good process of the cocoa beans, and it's not made to work on bonbons, because we don't have the same fluidity, but it is very how do you say, it's good enough not to add anything. Pure is really enjoyable. So any questions? How you going? Is my English understandable? What do you say? I don't know what you want to know. We can do the question and answers now. O si tienen preguntas ahora en español. I don't know. ¿Cuántas personas andan por allá? Díganme.
Son 12 personas.
Perfecto. Yeah, you've seen the workshop, so now it must be about, if I'm right, about 9 at night. If you don't have any questions right now, we can definitely answer you. And if not, for the almost 9 p.m. over there and 7 p.m. here, I mean, it could be time to eat, I don't know. Your tummy, eating chocolate, of course. As you know, chocolate is going to help you to stay home, stay home and enjoy your time. We're going to have a first tasting on Tuesday night for Mexico in Spanish, when we're going to make a mindfulness with tea and chocolate, so that you can really get concentrate on yourself, get concentrate on your emotions, and get quiet through the tea and through the chocolate. We're going to make another one on Thursday, will be 32nd of April, and this would be in English. I'm going to be part of it, I'm not going to lead it, because it's going to be the mindfulness, but for people normally in different countries out of Mexico, in the sense that we're going to actually lead you to this meditative state of being concentrated yourself and be able to actually concentrate more through the tea and through the chocolate you have home and feel better, because it's really important that we stay home right now, but it's really important to enjoy too. So chocolate, pasta, cocoa pastes, no, cocoa beans, the different way of enjoying this gift of the gods. Vamos a hacer una pequeña pausa, permítanme. Are you okay? Great. Anything you would say or add anything up to here? Do you have any questions about me, about the workshop, about the chocolate, about the producer we're working with, about the area, about the next events? You can ask questions, but nobody knows what's going to happen. But we're going to get back from that. We're going to offer, happiness through the chocolate. Just don't forget that whatever the question is, chocolate is the answer. In case you don't have any question live, what we can do is definitely answer any questions that you have on the Instagram or on Facebook. Or don't hesitate to send an email, and we'll be in touch anyway. So please enjoy your time and have a good night. Thank you again for following us. Thank you to the FCCI for inviting us and for everyone to participate. Thank you very much. Good luck. Bye.